9 days ago, and still a couple of days before we actually entered Advent, as the congregation filed out of this cathedral at the end of our first darkness to light procession, a friendly gentleman wished me a happy Christmas, which was an early reminder of just how jumbled up the church's seasons have become in 21st century Britain. This week, my diary reinforces that feeling. It includes 2 Christmas carol services, a Christmas lunch, a Christmas tea, 2 rounds of Christmas drinks, and a session singing carols in a local pub. The theory of Advent builds on a sense of waiting, of mental and spiritual preparation for what is yet to come. But the practical realities have fast-forwarded us past the preparation and direct to the celebrations. And yet, simply to wake up on any recent morning is to find a reminder that we're deep in the season of darkness. Currently, light is artificial, a human creation. If we were left to our own devices at this time of year, life would be cold, dark, damp, bleak. It's physically dark out there and unwelcoming. And this weekend it's stormy and dangerous. Now, I realise this enters a Scrooge-like note to our preparations, but to remind us, I would say this to remind us that what we do in here, and in the privacy of our own homes, and in the social environments of our work and play, is part of a much bigger and much more mixed picture. And while all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, equally all Christmas and no Advent makes Christians unrealistic, unbalanced. Not very far from the land where our readings and songs and nativities are focusing our attention through December, these last few days are playing out some very real hopes and fears of many years. In a matter of a few days, the brutal and divisive dictatorship of Bashar al-Assad seems to have collapsed, and that complex patchwork of Syrian society has woken up today in complete uncertainty. To a hopeful, I guess, but possibly dangerous future. More than 50 years of waiting, and now a sudden time of reckoning. Hopes and fears at their most extreme. It was the evangelist Mark who began his good news about Jesus, the Son of God, with a quotation from the ancient prophet Malachi. That was there to root his mission, the divine mission of Jesus, in the appearance of John the Baptist. Mark grasped the drama of both the prophecy and of the Baptist. But Mark wasn't a great scholar, and he messed up his quotation. Luke, coming later, tidied that up when he used the same passage, the same quotation in part, and in much the same way he took care to locate the time and the circumstances in which these events took place. Who was the emperor? Who was the governor? Who were the local kinglets and the high priests? He wanted his readers to know that God's events were happening in time and place among real people, and these weren't just some power play being enacted by God. He's saying this isn't simply some divine drama. This is working up to the transformation of the whole order of things. That's worth remembering when we attend a charming nativity, see a crib scene, or receive a Christmas card. We're moving from darkness to light, but that journey includes the wilderness and may take much longer than the 75 minutes of our Advent processions. In tidying up Mark's quotation, taken from the Hebrew Scriptures, Luke cuts out the bit of Malachi chapter 3, which we used earlier today in this service, and which had been used by his predecessor Mark. And Luke simply gives us the passage from Isaiah more fully, the passage into which Mark had casually and rather neglectfully segued in his quotation. Luke is tidier and more correct, but he loses some of that suddenness, excitement, drama in Mark. This more measured and careful Luke has steered his readers away from the stark question which is posed in Malachi. Who can endure the day of his coming? And who can stand when he appears? Who can endure the day of his coming? And who can stand when he appears? That is a question for us Christians in Advent. And it's a question, I should point out, that Malachi directs at the rulers and the priests in particular. Malachi goes on, for he is like a refiner's fire. How do we measure up?